Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be discussing service changes for the subways this weekend along with Long Island Railroad service changes. We're going to talk about the subway lines that do affect Northeast Queens, and we're going to talk about, again, the Long Island Railroad. So, first up, I want to let everybody know, starting tonight, 8:30, Friday, April 6, 2018, M-Train service will end early between Forest Hills 71st Avenue and Delancey Exeter Street due to track replacement. This will only affect service at night, it seems, but then again, I'm not too sure. But I know tonight there will be no M service. There will be no M service. So if you need to get on the local track, please take the R train. Again, please take the R train. Now, for an example, let's say you need to go to anywhere else along the 6th Avenue line. Your best bet is going to be taking the F train. That will get you along the 6th Avenue line. So, for an example, I'll just quickly go into my subway map very quickly. If you want to go to, let's say, 34th Street, Herald Square, well, the best thing I can recommend you do if you're along the local train for the M, best thing I can recommend you to do if you need to go to that station is transfer at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, and then take the F train. Alright, so you're going to take the F train if you can. Alright? Because there will be no M service this weekend. Now, unfortunately, I would recommend the 7, but the 7's going to have problems this weekend, and that's what we have to get into. But the good thing is, if you need to backtrack, unfortunately, that's what I'm going to have to recommend you do. Let's go to the 7. Starting 12:15 a.m. Saturday morning, April 7th, and continuing until 4:30 a.m. on Monday, April 9th. There will be no 7 train service between 34th Street, Hudson Yards, and Queensboro Plaza due to signal modernization. E, F, N, and W service will be available along with the Times Square shuttle. So I will quickly get into that very briefly. 7 trains will run between Main Street and Queensboro Plaza. Another alternative, if you don't want to deal with the subway, is the Q66 bus. You can use the E, F, N, or W train to get into Manhattan or to get into Queens this weekend. You can transfer at Queensboro Plaza to the N or the W train. Or you can transfer to the E, F, or R train this weekend. I'm just surprised they're not even mentioning the R train, because we'll check the emails just in a sec. Yeah, I didn't see anything about the R train in Queens this weekend. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They only talk about Brooklyn, but they didn't talk about Queens. So I don't know why they didn't recommend taking the R train this weekend. I mean, that's a little bit of miscommunication right there. So we'll quickly go back to the email. Yes, for the 7. Shuttle buses will run along Hudson Yards in Times Square and between Queensboro Plaza and Vernon Boulevard, Jackson Avenue. Now, let's say you need to get to Grand Central or Bryant Park. Well, the good news is, if you can, please transfer at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, 74th Street Station. Please, if you can, take the elevator, walk downstairs. You can take the F train, alright? You're going to take the F train to 42nd Street, Bryant Park. Now, if you need to go to Grand Central Station, as an example, the good news is, it's not that much of a long walk to get over to Grand Central Station from Bryant Park. Believe me, I have walked from there before, and it's not really a bad walk if you're that desperate. But if you are lazy and you don't want to walk, the other alternative is the M42. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're that desperate, you can take the M42. It's at Bryant Park. It's along the corner of West 42nd Street by 6th Avenue, so you can get it right there. There's another stop, I believe, near the restroom. I'm not too sure. There is a public bathroom by there, but then again, if you need Bryant Park, if you need to get to even Times Square, I'll even recommend this too. If you want to get to Times Square, the 7 will not be available, so you can also take the F to Bryant Park, and it's only a 1-block walk. So you can do that. So you're not completely screwed this weekend if you need to get to, let's say, Grand Central from Queens this weekend. But if you're at Times Square and you want to get to, let's say, Grand Central Station, well, the good news is the Times Square shuttle will be running this weekend as well. So you're not completely screwed. But if you're at Times Square and you're used to taking a subway to Bryant Park, you're not going to have that luxury this weekend. You're just going to have to walk 1 block on West 42nd to get to Bryant Park. I know I don't want to hear people complaining, but that's what I can recommend. Okay. 9:45 p.m. tonight until 5 a.m. Monday. Manhattan-bound E trains will skip Briarwood and 75th Avenue due to signal modernization. This will also impact the F. The F is actually going to be skipping Sutphin Boulevard. Also, downtown F trains will skip 23rd Street and 14th Street due to signal improvements in Manhattan. We're not really going to talk about Manhattan on this channel. We're going to strictly focus on Queens. So, if you want service to Briarwood and 75th Avenue and Sutphin Boulevard stations, please use the Q60 bus. Now, if you are confused about the Q60, let's say at Sutphin Boulevard, the good news is you can get off at Queens Boulevard and Hillside Avenue, right by Star Toyota, believe it or not, and you can walk east on Hillside Avenue to access the area around the Sutphin Boulevard subway station. So again, if you can take the Q60 bus. Alright? That is your option. If you need any other ways to get over there, I can recommend going on Google Maps and then selecting the bus only option. So that could be another way if you are that desperate, if you're coming from somewhere else. But your alternative can be the Q60. That's where I can recommend this weekend if you need to access the following stops. 75th Avenue, another recommendation I can say is you can walk from Kew Gardens Union Turnpike, or you can walk from Forest Hill 71st Avenue. That's another alternative I can recommend right there. But the Q60 is an option. I'm just going to say that now. If you need a bus. Yeah, we're not going to focus on that. Yeah, we'll quickly talk about this. Special weekend W service will run between Whitehall Street and Ditmars Boulevard. Now this is important because we have to discuss this. What I am trying to say here is that you are going to have special service this weekend due to the 7 train. So, thankfully, there is going to be extra trains this weekend on the W if you need to access Manhattan this weekend. I forgot to also mention with regards to Times Square. If you are at Queensboro Plaza, I just completely forgot to mention this. We'll go back to the email for a sec about the 7. I completely forgot because I'm just so fascinated with the F train because you know me, I take the F every week to Rockefeller, but thankfully another alternative to get to Times Square 42nd Street is the N and the W train. So, let's say you want to get to Bryant Park that way too. Well, you can. Okay, but what about Grand Central 42nd Street? Well, I just mentioned earlier the Times Square shuttle will be running this weekend. So if you need to get to Bryant Park, if you need to get to Times Square 42nd Street, your best alternatives this weekend will be the following lines: the F, the N, and the W. So if you can, please use those subway lines this weekend if you need to get to those stations. Now we're going to go to the Long Island Railroad. One of two tracks between Woodside and Bayside on the Port Washington branch will be out of service to accommodate signal work and positive train control testing starting on Saturday, April 7th and Sunday, April 8th. As a result, Port Washington branch train service will be reduced from half-hourly to hourly in both directions starting 12:01 a.m. Saturday morning, April 7th, and continuing throughout the weekend going into Monday, April 9th. Regular train service will be restored in time for 6 a.m. peak train service. Any information you are looking for, I'm going to put this link here in the description below. Buses are going to be replacing trains the next following weekends between Long Beach and Valley Stream. Following weekends will be this weekend, April 7th, April 8th, April 14th, April 15th, and April 21st to the 22nd. Lynbrook customers are actually going to have the option of using regularly scheduled Babylon branch trains from travel to and from Jamaica and Penn Station. So let's read this. Installation of new rail tiles on the Reynolds Channel Bridge, which connect Long Beach and Island Park, will require closure of the bridge for 3 consecutive weekends. As a result, buses will replace Saturday and Sunday trains between Long Beach and Valley Stream on the weekends of April 7th, April 8th, the next 3 weekends, of course, so I'm not going to go into that again. In addition, buses will replace several Friday night trains at the start of every weekend. Lynbrook customers will have the option of using Babylon branch trains to and from Jamaica and Penn Station. Customers at other stations will be affected from the following. So this is interesting. You have a couple Friday night trains getting affected too because of this. Let's see. Saturday and Sunday service changes. Customers at stations Long Beach throughout Lynbrook will board buses departure for 1 hour and 6 minutes later than normal weekend train times. Please plan ahead for 28 minutes of additional travel time. Both directions. Alright, so again, all this information is from here, of course, and then we'll just go to the main line. This weekend, starting Friday night, April 6th, and continuing until Sunday, April 8th, testing of a new signal system designed to support east side access at Harold, Interlocking, and Queens is taking place. This is very important to the progress towards the east side access. Saturday-Sunday service on the Port Jefferson branch will be reduced, and there are changes to connecting service for a number of other branches. In addition, a number of eastbound trains will depart from Penn Station a few minutes earlier than usual on Friday night. This is interesting. The Babylon branch and Ronkonkoma branch will have adjusted departure times this weekend. So this is only for this weekend on the Huntington Port Jefferson branch. So please keep that in mind. Again, any link you need will be in the description below for the railroad. Subway map, I'm going to provide that in the link in the description below. So there you have it. Those are the service changes for this weekend. And I can understand, again, why you have to do it on the weekend. Less travel, less people using mass transit, and makes sense to do it when you don't want people's service getting screwed between Monday and Friday rush hour train service. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. Good luck this weekend if you'll be using mass transit to get anywhere you need to go. Till next time, take care.